fucking smart. All right, we're live now, so when has that ever stopped me from gloating about myself? I am so fucking smart. Boss Rush Redux. It's like back from the dead. Oh shit, we're live, and I put the wrong screen on. There we go. All right, just in time. Oh, that's fine.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we are like almost right on the dot. I skipped drinking beer on Saturday so I can drink beer tonight. I'm watching my figure.
Your commitment to this show can't be overstated.
That's show business, baby. I forgot to reach. You forgot to what?
I haven't resubscribed in a second, so I'm being subjected to an ad on my own damn stream.
Wow, dude. You can't even throw us your Prime?
I just threw it, but I hadn't refreshed it between shows, and so it caught me with the ad.
Unbelievable.
I'll probably do like the hey, I did this. I subscribed.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said that, I realized that mine had also lapsed.
Oh my
Two
God.
of the three people here aren't even using their Amazon Prime on us.
I use it every month. It just ended last week and we didn't have a stream.
You have no idea the financial burden buying a 12-pack of High Life is putting on me to put on this damn show every week. My family is starving. Please give me your Amazon Prime. It's the least you can do. But anyway, I'm watching my figure for the wedding. You know, I got to fit into my tux. Got to be lean, mean fighting machine. Even if I can't walk, I got to be, because you never know. Back in the old days, people would show up to a wedding and challenge the groom to a duel for the, for the bride's hand.
I mean, that could still happen. Given where you live, I know it's.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. There could be a rabble rouser that appears and challenges me to a duel.
That almost happened at my wedding. It's the reason at the time I selected my my biggest and most physically imposing friend to be my best man.
That's pretty smart. I can't believe somebody almost dueled you at your own wedding, though.
It probably wouldn't have happened had I met you at the time, but there it is.
Yeah, because then I would have been the best man, and then
Exactly.
No duelist would be sniffing around.
They would have known better.
Yeah. D Knight in the chat. Have we decided on a name for MFYK?
I believe just MF.
MF. Yeah. MF. That's our.
Hello, friend.
Our friend MF. D Knight, Hanshu, Shadow Heart. How you guys doing? We're back.
Hope everyone had an enjoyable holiday weekend for those of you who celebrated, or for those of you who didn't. I hope you had an enjoyable weekend anyway. Really.
Did you guys eat hot dogs? You guys eat any hot dogs in chat or in VC? Any hot dog eaters?
Had the option to, went with a burger instead.
Well, I do both.
That's mighty right there.
Mm-hmm. Came down with the meat sweat, something horrible, but that's the price we pay. Oh, I need the song. We did enjoy the week off. I ate a lot of hot dogs. Bl'Artagnan subscribed with Prime. Subscribed for 10 months. Are we going to approach... Oh my god, I just heard the Blart, baby. Oh. Blart, you want to tell us what that was? Oh!
Yeah, what is that?
Oh my god, I think I'm going to cry. I got to mute myself.
So to celebrate, this is actually the official start of my paternity leave. My wife and I ended up staggering our respective leaves, and mine started today. And so to celebrate that, I said, you know what, baby Blart, you get to co-host the Lifestream with us tonight. And so she's over there on her playmat. You can't see her because, I don't have a camera, but she's there and you can hear her. She's going to be chiming in with her thoughts and opinions on the latest DFFOO content throughout the night.
Yeah, let's just hope, when we're discussing Lulu, she doesn't randomly say poo poo in the middle of it. Blart.
If she says poo-poo, that'll be her first word, and we're just gonna have to live with that. Mrs. Blart's also here. She says hi. She probably won't be chiming in, but honestly, if you hear a noise, it could be any of them.
Oh my god, I'm trying to pull myself together. This is the cutest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life. That is just so sweet. That sweet little cooing. The cooing. I can't get over it.
More articulate than I am at this point. It's really great.
All right, you guys.
Thanks, Ed.
You guys ready?
Let's hit the road.
I gotta play the song, which of course I have queued up, ready to roll. As always.
Totally.
Okay. All right, we're gonna start. Everybody ready?
Heck yeah.
Yep.
3, 2.
And now it's time to start the show with Bl'Artagnan, Raw Life, and some girl. This is the Lifestream.
This is the live stream. Back from Memorial Day Hot Dog Fest. I am your host, Raw Life, as always. Unfortunately, you can't see my beautiful mustache. I did shave my beard into a mustache. I was excited to show it off, and I have misplaced my webcam. So you'll have to trust me and see the mustache next week. I'm not alone. You do have to, and it's really good. Have you guys seen Top Gun?
I have seen the mustache. It's actually pretty good.
I actually saw it this weekend.
The mustache or Top Gun?
The Top Gun.
Oh, come on, dude.
Both, I'm kidding.
My game crashed, so that gives me more time to introduce all the great folks you just heard talking about my mustache. Some girl, why don't you say hello first?
All right. Hi, everybody. We all missed you last week. I was not celebrating Memorial Day. I was actually extremely sick last week, so I could not speak without coughing constantly. So I'm glad to not be doing that anymore.
Are you all better? Are you all healed? You had some chicken soup?
I did eat quite a bit of soup.
Okay, good. As long as you're 100%. I was eating hot dogs, but you're better. I'm better. Bl'Artagnan, how are you doing, friend?
I am doing pretty great. I am not alone, because to celebrate the kickoff of my official parental leave from work, I am here joined by my esteemed co-host, Baby Blart. She's over there on her playmat, enjoying the show, and she's going to be sharing her thoughts and views on the latest DFFOO content throughout the night. Just chiming in here and there. Doesn't have a script or anything like that, but she's a natural. She's a pro. She knows what she's doing here.
I'm trying to collect myself. The sound of her cooing and calling is the sweetest thing I've ever heard, and I'm honestly, this is not a bit. I'm emotional. It's so cute and sweet. Blind Eye, please say something. Say hello to the people before I sob. I have to mute myself.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a fantastic Monday. And yeah, Raw, whenever you're ready to kick off.
Okay, I just had to collect myself. The sound of a baby cooing is just obviously everyone knows. You can't see my mustache right now, but you know me in general. I'm a tough, rough and tumble, outdoorsman, a man of the toughness. But just the sound of a baby is just I love it so much. But this isn't a baby podcast. Oh, this isn't a podcast at all. This is not a podcast. This is a DFFOO variety stream. The City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. and last week we were off because of Memorial Day, and the week before I was out. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover this week, like a lot, including some of my favorite content ever. But we'll get there. The first thing that happened since you guys, I think you guys were all on last week. The first thing that happened was Bahamut.
Yeah, Divine Bahamut.
Yes.
Someone say how you say that first before it becomes a huge problem. The pronunciation.
Bahamut.
Bahamuto.
I've told it's Bahamut.
Bahamut.
It's always
tell me.
been pronounced Bahamut. I don't know.
I've always said Bahamut, but I don't know.
I said Bahamut as well.
Okay, I'll go with Bahamut. Bahamut?
I know
Bahamut
the
Divine.
Japan-
You know what?
No, I know the Japanese one because Caius freaking yells it out in his burst.
Oh yeah, Bahamuto. I
Call him that.
as Caius guy, I can confirm he does say that. But this was actually the easiest divine summon. We'll talk about the characters in a second, but the summon board grind, kind of like the challenge quests and all the kind of filler events that we normally get, has just been kind of crept. I don't know if everybody else had this experience, but I did just 3 super synergies, but one of them was Green Yuna, and she one-shots him with a BT finisher. This has got to be the first time that you can one-shot a divine board with a BT finisher. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can vouch for that as well.
Yeah, I think it
On the
was.
one shot.
Literally, I did it while I was watching Vinland Saga, and it was like 29 minutes episodes. It took me 2 episodes. Just boom, 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 done. How was everyone else's Divine Bahamut grind? Blart, did you suffer, or was it quick?
It was pretty quick. I was actually surprised by how quick it went. I think I just brought 3 LD synergy characters. Nothing fancy. I don't remember. I think it was just 3 of the C90s or something like that, and just kind of cleaned up. Oh yeah, it was just the 3 C90s, no burst or anything like that, just LDs, and it was super smooth.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
You could actually also just one-shot it with like Prishe LD.
Wait,
If
If
Prishe
you had her,
LD?
like, belt out. I mean, I had like an ultimate weapon, blue armor, so like
Oh.
I don't think any Prishe LD could do it, but mine certainly did. It's a one-shot.
That would have made it faster, actually, because I had Prish too, but Yuna
Yeah,
does
I
it,
also
but
had
it
Green
takes
Yuna.
forever.
So whichever one happened to go first would one-shot it.
Green Yuna's
I,
animation takes a while.
I have
Yeah.
Prish LD as well, but I never really considered that. Like, I didn't like really invest in her because I lack her BT.
Well, speaking of her, she was the LDBT character. Her LD and her BT plus came out with Divine Bahamut. Some girl, did you pull her? Tell us about.
Of course I did.
Tell us about Prish, the detestable child.
Let's see. She kind of does what she did before, but better for the most part. She gets consecutive turns, does a lot of damage, mostly focused on single target damage, but she can certainly hold her own in AoE damage as well. Kind of the unique gimmick from her LD is that her brave hits are doubled. So every time she does 1 brave hit, it actually happens twice. And with her BT plus, she can extend that effect to the entire party and give herself a 3rd brave hit for each of her brave hits. So it's kind of a neat effect for all those units who have a bit of trouble capping on their own. All you Seymour fans, all you Sid Highwind, characters like that. She'll certainly do a lot for them. But mostly she just does a ton of damage. And is relatively self-sufficient, got a lot of defense ignore, brave gain, stuff like that. She doesn't really need too much help to hit those ceilings, and the ceiling is very high. I've been very impressed with her damage, obviously at full investment. If you're using her LD only, you're probably not going to get too much value out of her in the coming content, but she's certainly strong enough with just LD to take out like current content.
You said full investment. Do you have a? I think I know this, but do you have a ultimate weapon fist?
I have a 3 out of 5 fist.
Ooh, so she's doing nasty damage. I don't have any ultimate weapon fist, and she's doing like 2 mil on LDs when properly supported. Just ridiculous.
Mhm.
Let me see here.
Her LD is I guess the thing I want to also mention is her LD has 12 HP attacks, which is pretty absurd. And she has Brave gains to relatively easily cap those HP attacks. Unless I guess you're using her in a fight that nullifies Brave gains, which we'll talk about later. But very good as a call as well to just do a whole lot of damage. Oh, look, there she is on the screen right now.
Oh! We got a 3 of 5. We got the blue. We got the blue armor. Beautiful. She's beautiful. I'm gonna do this right the very first time.
Oh no.
It's just that easy. It's just that easy. All the backseat gamers. Shout out BC. He had to face the wrath of a bunch of backseat gamers. He started to do live events on his YouTube, which are very fun. Check him out on YouTube if you're not already subscribed. But he's had to face the wrath of some backseat gamers the last couple weeks. And I just want to shout out all the backseat gamers who think it's so easy to click every button. You know, click free recruit, click this button. There's no one single button that just says invite my friends. If I was a developer, I think that's like the move. Just invite my friends. Instead of clicking all these different buttons to make your friends get invited. I need points from this. So I'm gonna do Tome of. There it is, Tome of Treasure. Oh, all the co-hosts got on it. You guys are too slow in chat. Gotta try again next time. I got Prishe too, as you can see. I do not have ultimate weapon, but she just hits crazy hard, and I feel like I'm doing her. I'm pressing her buttons right. Some girl, she gets an instant turn rate, right? And you can go twice on either of her skills. One of them is AOE. One of them single target. Skill 1 is the single target one. Skill 2 is the AOE. But you can't really mess her up, right? I'm doing like her rotation is pretty simple. Just
yeah, probably one of the biggest things to be kind of mindful of is her free skill from EX. You have 9 uses of the transformed skill 1 and skill 2, but if you can, if you use your EX while they're available, then you can get even more skills. And she will never ever run out of skills, even on a fight with 60 million health, like one we might have just seen.
Yeah, she seems really easy, and you literally already showed me something I was doing wrong. Her EX gives free skills, but if there's a free skill stored, she gets another free skill? Is that what you're saying?
No. So her base, like, she works kind of like Zell, where the base skills are always free. And then the transform skills are not free skills. So you want to make sure that you get
So in short, what you're saying is if you're going for longevity, only use your EX if transform skills are available.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And CSDX in chat is pointing out you need to do the S1 to S1 rotation first to get the crit buff up.
She doesn't need it.
Okay. She's critting everything anyway, so.
Well, I mean, there was a crit. There's been a decent amount of crit orbs, so it could be helpful, honestly, just for the orb control if there's like ever a crit orb situation.
It's very situational. I wouldn't worry too much about getting, like, yes, in that one particular case, sure.
Well,
But
obviously, yeah.
Pretty trigger happy with the whole unbreakable bosses thing lately, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of the stuff that so we can get to that boss rush, because that boss rush is I've got opinions, and we know what happens when I have opinions. I'm always right.
They're wrong.
The Bahamut Lufenia plus I'll pull it up just so I'm not gonna run it right now because it took fucking forever. I took a ridiculously overpowered team and still took like probably 20 plus minutes. Wait, where would it be? World of Illusions.
World of Illusion.
Yeah. I thought this fight was kind of hard. From Safer Stuff to this to Boss Rush, I've been a little humbled. Like we said, we'll get to Boss Rush, but I've been a little humbled over the last couple weeks. I blew this up with Kistis, Zach, and I don't know who else. But this was rough. He's got 2 crystals next to him at all times. You can't kill him. They never go away, right?
They do not know.
And the orb, this is the main reason, just because I'm stupid, I couldn't figure out the orb. That's why I blew it up. I saw some really cool teams. Goose, shout out Goose specifically. He ran some cool stuff. But I couldn't figure it out. It's count target takes damage from 2 consecutive player actions, summon excluded on resume excluded. If there was any like follow-ups, it like blew up the chain. I could not figure it out, so I just blew it up. If anyone did something cool, tell us what you did, because I didn't do anything cool.
Oh, I used your favorite character, LA.
Who did you use?
I used the Dawn.
Here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he gets consecutive turns. That's his whole
Yeah,
thing.
He's not. He wasn't unbreakable. I'm getting all the unbreakable.
Well, he
fights.
gets unbreakable
He
at
gets
certain
unbreakable,
points in the fight.
He gets unbreakable at certain points of the fight.
Yeah.
The
Then you
thing.
just press mug.
The thing is with this fight that I was struggling with was the orb specifically, because when it comes back at like 2 and 1. So I could not get around it. Blart, did you do anything cool with it, or did you just get in and get out and get onto Echoes of Mana? Boom, burn,
Ooh.
burn.
Yeah, no, you got me. I tried doing some clever stuff and creative stuff, and was like, wow, this is tricky, and I don't have time for this. So I ended up pulling out Terra and using a Terra and Freya kind of situation. And it's funny because I don't think it even ticked up the orb. It just, because it was a no turn type situation, it didn't end up coming up.
Right, so it goes down at boss turns.
Exactly. So it was clean, easy-ish, and took a long time, even with a very kind of cheesy team.
Yeah, my super cheesy team took a long time. Blind Eye, how was your experience with this fight, and who'd you bring if you remember?
Well, I got blown up towards the end because below 30%, the orb comes back at a 1 count.
Yes.
And yeah, I initiated Titus's BT phase, and he was gonna get a turn immediately after. And since he has those lock brackets, you can't push him back. So he was like at 11%, and then I got blown up because the orb went off. So I basically took the same team, but I was a little careful. But my team was basically how Blart summed it, but instead of Terra, put Titus. So it was Titus, Freya, and Sisney, and just blew it up with off turns.
Yeah, I mean there were answers to it that were relatively simple if you brought
Kistis is a funny one.
What's that?
Kistis, I think, was very popular here when it rolled around. It was here on JP, so I'm guessing people probably did that again here since.
Yeah, that's definitely the cheese strat.
Oh yeah,
I did, but Kistis just doesn't care.
I did it. Yeah, the cheese strat is he's delay immune, but she breaks through it. I was gonna use the 3 characters so we could talk about them while we do it. We're gonna do something a little different this week. I'm gonna run it just a little. We're not gonna finish this fight. But I just want to showcase the characters a little bit while we talk about it. We got a lot of stuff to go through, so we'll just kind of talk as we die. Hopefully, we'll die before we go to the next fight. But Kistis goes through the delay immune,
right?
And so I just used her to just knock him back the whole fight and wail away with Zach, and I don't remember who the third was. But Kistis is the easy answer here, and I took it.
Absolutely.
But there were 3 characters. We already talked about Prishe, but the 2 other characters that came with this was Yuna BT plus C90 and Celes, as you see on screen here, C90.
And Raw's favorite character is the other one.
Wait, who's the other one?
Fran.
Oh yeah, she's my favorite call too. But I don't have anything to say about Fran C90. Yuna got a BT plus. Some girl, did you green her?
I did.
Tell us.
I do. I'm a big Yuna fan. I don't think it's the most impressive BT plus. Honestly, I think it's kind of underwhelming. I mean, I would say the biggest advantage is that her BT was already really good, and now you get it twice. Her personal damage is better. Her EX has a lot of dumps, and her BT finisher does crazy damage.
Yeah, it feels a lot better to. Well, I guess you couldn't really press her BT finisher except BT phase, but it feels really good.
Well, it was already really strong.
Yeah, if you like.
He at least has the advantage of using an ultimate weapon that many people probably already have due to Garnet and.
Yeah, I don't have that one, so.
Yeah, same. Just, it's a consideration these days now, though.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, she has a good ultimate weapon type.
One of the reasons that I greened her, I love Final Fantasy X, but also I already had her and I have the ultimate weapon, and so I was like, you know what, I might as well. And She does obviously like a lot of C90s, BT pluses. She does what she did, does it a little better, and that's about it. Blind Eye, you're a Final Fantasy X guy. Did you green her?
I sure did, Raw. And I kind of agree with Samegi. I feel like she's honestly clunky. Like, to get the best of her BT auras, your team cannot have debuffs. And I mean, obviously, you can raise the question that like she can cleanse it, but that's still a turn. You have to essentially cleanse it. So I believe in most situations, people are just gonna run like a debuff immunity character like Lena with her.
Yeah. But she's been raised to current standards, damage wise, and if you're a Una fan, you can run her just like all the
Yeah,
other.
no, she's not
Oh
bad.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
just
She's not bad at all.
I do think that her kit is strangely lacking in any kind of like brave games, like brave gain
Yeah.
up for the party,
Yeah.
which feels like a bit of a glaring omission for a character with her kit in this era.
That's about all the time we need to spend on Una. You know, if you love her, she works. If you have Ultima staff 5/5, works even better. Celes got a C90. I already had her, so I'm using her here just to see. I honestly have not touched her since she got her C90. Blart, did you pull or did you already have her LD? And how does Celes work now?
Yeah, I had her LD already. I ended up actually giving her the blue armor with this because she's one of my favorite characters from 6, and I went hard on Greatsword, so I figured, hey. Also, the baby, a big fan.
Oh, I'm crying.
So, I mean, Celes, you know, she's been this ice enchanter, off-turn damage tank since she got the LD. All she really gets on the C90 is, you know, quote unquote more damage. The traps now have a double dump, which is great. That's a big chunk of damage there. She has better party auras. Her EX actually has a pretty good single target damage. I want to say I hit like it's like 5 or 6 dumps, and that adds up pretty quick, and it charges every other turn. Also, not that this matters, but Runic is now instant turn, which is not like game breaking or special, but I mean, even in a fight like this, they're like, hey, you need instant turn rate stuff. So it's an added new piece of her kit now. Is now she has an instant turn move, and it's a move that you're not really going to be using outside of like when you stuff like ticking your orb there. So hey, you know, if you need it, it's there. We also know, you know, down the line she gets a BT plus, you know, an FR and stuff. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if there are folks who this is probably not the time to pull 4 Celes, just do it then. But I mean, if you already had her, she's quite capable now. And again, she has a great sword ultimate weapon, so she's going to be doing pretty well. That said, I can think of a great sword ultimate weapon tank who, with a BT plus already, who many people probably already have, and in most cases we can probably just use. I'm not going to say she's a good replacement for Zac by any stretch of the imagination, but she's capable. She's fun. She's a returning C90 who I think is not, you know, didn't get shafted by by like a Zonde or Thancred type situation.
Yeah, I actually think she's really good.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good C90. The instant turn rate skill, one thing I wanted to mention as well is instant turn rate skills are kind of better now just because they charge the EX and EXs are good again. So you could definitely use that to get more uses of the EX, which is always really nice. Her damage feels good, her auras feel good, her protections, like, I don't know. I thought her LD release, I never really found her all that useful and never really used her much, but she feels really good now.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't use her too much, like LD release.
I used her a fair bit back then. The issue she had was that she got damage from her LD trap that added to her damage, she still didn't have much damage. She didn't have much party support auras. Like, you had to bring like a really dedicated support alongside her to supplement the fact that she didn't really bring auras outside of her enchant for the most part. And then you needed to bring a capable damage dealer. And so if unless you were fighting a magic boss with like an ice orb or something like that, there were probably other units who were going to fill the role better. But here, I think because of the improvements to the damage to the auras, I think now she feels like she doesn't feel like you need to build around her. You can actually use her, and she kind of works as intended, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
oh wait, I have been talking. Oh my god, I muted myself because Bart's baby was cooing, and it made me so emotional. I was upset. I honestly thought you guys were just like, fuck Raw. We're just going to talk. We're just not going to listen to him. I've been telling you guys that counter tanks specifically are off-turn units. When they get a upgrade like this, it just, maybe I'm just dumb, it just feels so much better than other units getting improved damage or improved support, whatever. Every time an off-turn, an evade tank or a counter tank gets an upgrade, it feels so much better, because I guess it's because it's off-turn, but the like hers is double dump now, right? It wasn't a double dump. And so it just feels, and it looks so much better. So I haven't used her except for right now, but I really enjoyed it. And next time Bart's baby coos, I'll make sure to unmute myself after I stop crying.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we'll briefly. Fran also got a C90. She got like some very small party auras. She does a bit more damage now. Her EX is a decent button to press, I guess, and she's still mostly just a call. Sorry, Fran fans.
Yeah, she sucks.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah, I tried using her, and Bo is.
She suffers from. I mean, not to go too deep into it, but she's one of those characters who just has, who relies exclusively on her brave damage to deal meaningful damage, like a Laguna, like a Gilgamesh. But she doesn't actually have any gimmick supporting it to like improve the damage. Like with Cait Sith, he has his LD, which we'll talk about. Like he doesn't have built-in brave gains between like brave refunds, but he gives himself something. You know, we have characters with brave retention now, characters with refunds, characters with brave steal up. She just is supposed to be hitting, for hard brave damage, except she doesn't actually hit very hard, so she just doesn't do damage. But hey, it's a good debuff.
Yeah, I use her solely and specifically for a call, so this didn't affect me at all. If you're a Fran fan, I'm sure she's better now. Probably, maybe, who knows? But we do have a lot to cover, so we're gonna back out of this fight. If you had any issues with this fight, the answer is Quistis. If you want to cheese it, she can go through his delay immunity and just delay him to high hell, and you don't have to worry about the orb at all.
A couple other good answers. I want to mention the characters that I had used. Snow is crazy good here.
Snow.
His preemptive sometimes counts for the orb. It's a little jank, and I don't know if anyone I never really found a good explanation for why it did or didn't count as his preemptive counting as like the first move. But he keeps you really safe from the pretty constant HP damage if you're not delaying them to hell. I also wanted to shout out, actually, Kadaj is really good here. He's got great single target brave damage, and he seals enemy brave gains, so they won't really be hitting you very hard. And he can attack twice with his AA into a skill. So Kadaj and Snow, very good characters here.
I'll throw one out as well. This was before she got her C90, but Shelke was also really great here.
I can see that.
C80 Shelke?
Yeah, C80 Shelke. I took her with me.
I mean, her C80 or C90 are basically the same characters.
Well, I mean, yeah, like all she got was an extra dump on her base skill.
Well, hey, speaking of Shelke, and speaking of segues, Shelke got an LC. It feels like, I don't know if time is just all weird, but feels like she just came out. I don't know. And
it was 7 months ago.
That is fucking crazy to hear, but 7 months ago. And she got her LC, she got her C90, and we're going to run that fight real quick while we talk about a little change of pace from Safer Sephiroth to Bahamut to Boss Rush. Kind of a lot of similar themes and tones. And then you had this fight. Shelke got her C90. Some girl, did you already have her?
I did.
How does she perform at C90 now?
So here's a couple. I have very mixed feelings about this character in this tuning pass. So she didn't really get much actually changed. She got standard C90 stat boosts, which really do help quite a bit. She's capping everything pretty easily now. She only got one extra dump on her base skills, which sounds kind of bad, But I mean, from 1 dump to 2, that is double the damage of that skill, and she's pressing those skills a lot of times. That's kind of her whole gimmick. Krieg's also got 1 extra dump, which doesn't really matter. She can equip an ultimate weapon now. She's got a good ultimate weapon type. If you're a unique ultimate weapon investor, then you might find some good use out of that. The thing about Shelke that I think makes her kind of good at this exact moment in time is that follow-up characters are really strong right now. Right? We're in the era of like follow-up characters, I feel like. We've got, Cisne and Freya and all these characters who just every time you take a turn, they just jump in and do a bunch of extra damage. And Shelke can take so many turns. So you can really get a lot of mileage out of your, like I said, your Cisnes, your Freyas, stuff like that. I think that's sort of what makes her strong right now. I don't think that's something that will last very long into the next era where, turn efficient, like action efficiency becomes more important. But for this exact moment, I think she's pretty all right. I wouldn't suggest anyone invest in Shelke if you don't already have her, but you can use her. She'll be pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where I think the LD or the LC character is not really the star of the show, but it's good to see that at least she got enough that she becomes kind of modernized here and usable.
I mean, she also
Oh
got
my
interesting
God.
change.
Oh my lord! Oh no! Oh God! Oh no! Not like this.
I did the same thing. I did this fight in voice chat in one of our Discord servers.
I've seen
I
you
did
do
it
this
twice.
before.
I did it twice. God. Okay, I'm sorry.
I will say one of the changes she got that was actually interesting is that her skill 2 buff has last stand attached to it now, which is odd, but I guess it's one of those situations where we take those, right?
Make her better for soloing content.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Want
all
to bring her to like entropy 20 or something?
the
She's
all
probably really good.
The all important
Because
solo.
it's really rare for her to be like at 1 HP to begin with. But I guess if she gets focused, maybe someone plans to bring a lock call with her. I mean, I don't know why, but
I mean, she
I
has a
guess there's
personal brave shield already.
Yeah, and it's high. That brave shield is really high.
Yeah, it got way bigger. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that got reworked somehow. Like it's a bigger number, but her brave shield feels even bigger. And it was already like a very big shield.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say out of out of all these like turn hoggy DPSs, Shelke is like the only one where you actually wouldn't mind giving the enemies turns just because she turn warps off of her overhead after their actions. So she benefits off of, obviously turn hogging because she's a turn hogger, but obviously giving the enemy turns because she can just like perform an action immediately after that.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes her good on fights like Divine Bahamut that we just got, where that end. I don't know if anyone had this experience, but those bosses are really fast. They took a ton of turns.
Yeah.
And you can use that to your advantage with a character like Shelke. Just keep taking warp turns. Same with the Divine Leviathan back 2 months ago, where they would just line up like 8 turns in a row and just, oh look, more free damage from Shelke.
Right.
Her fight. We'll talk about Lulu a little bit. I guess the other character on this was Lulu. Blart, do you have anything else to say about Shelke? I have never pulled her, never used her once. I have nothing to add. Do you have anything to say about Shelke?
Not really. No. She is a good and interesting character with a fairly unique gimmick who kind of does things that other characters I have do for the most part when I want that kind of thing, which is to say take lots of turns. She does it in a unique way, but and again, unique weapon, always a good investment as far as ultimate weapons go if you're confused about that.
Yeah. Her fight was, as I had mentioned earlier, it was a welcome break, a respite for someone like me who has been beaten down and humbled by the recent fights. This fight sucks, man. This fight's super easy. Doesn't really do anything. I don't know if you were watching the stream a second ago. Make sure you don't attack the helicopter while the little guy is out, because the helicopter evades everything. But it's pretty much the same fight, right? But they just added.
Yeah, they just changed the orb to something a bit more accessible, provided you don't forget to bring any of it. And they fix. It's easier in every sense except that they got rid of the Agrius confused cheese that made the fight not feel like a slog. Which I found kind of funny. It's part of the pattern we've talked about before on the show about how basically like nowadays story chapters are kind of the capstone hard fight. Divine Summons kind of is similarly challenging, and then maybe not quite there, but like if story chapters like the A tier hard fight, and then A minus or like B plus tier would be probably Divine Summon in terms of difficulty, and the Lost Chapter is kind of a breather fight where you just kind of get to frolic around and I don't know, blow up some mannequins or whatever. That seems to be the pattern we've been seeing lately.
Yeah,
and then a GL first fight, of course, comes and slaps you in the face.
The only part you're missing is intersecting wills are somehow even easier than the already really easy
I had completely
fights.
forgotten about that. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I don't think we got an IW that like had a really hard fight. All of them has just been like a cakewalk.
You could argue that maybe the very first one with Garnet was like a little tricky because it had high stats.
What?
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, the Ant Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I don't think. I mean, that one was. I think that one was harder than many garbage time fights. I felt like it felt more interesting than many of the garbage time fights, but it also felt like a fairly straightforward and easy stomp compared to a lot of the fights.
It was surrounded by some much harder fights. So in that respect,
Yeah.
it was on the easier end. But
Yeah,
that's because it came right after like Bane Cycle.
The hardest part of that fight, if we could pause, go down memory lane for a moment, was the fact that every threshold, all three of them would do their animation.
Oh
And
yeah,
It
Sandstorm.
took forever. My goodness gracious. Imagine playing Shelke in that. Jesus Lord.
and that was before Garnet had her global first stuff, so she was
Bad.
she wasn't bad. She felt good there. She definitely felt good there with multiple targets, but the only thing they really did for this fight to kind of spruce it up, they made the orb fire damage because Lulu. So you can't cancel. It's up the whole time, but every time it takes fire damage, it's +4. So any kind of answer to the orb just completely makes it a non-issue. This is my team that I ran. I literally just took Lulu base call and put it on Freya, who has it the whole fight, and there's no problem there. Did anybody pull Lulu LD? I doubt it, but
I have her LD. I did not actually build the character because I'm running out of blue armor tokens.
like the base armor tokens.
Yeah, the base armor tokens. I'm running out.
Black Nero was right.
Oh wow.
He did warn us.
Yeah, you just don't get any of them.
Yeah, so Raw, I pulled for Lulu, obviously.
Oh, Final Fantasy X guy.
Yeah, I actually got her on the first multi, so 5K. Well, I don't know. At least she ain't a gold digger. And I'm kidding. She feels yeah, she doesn't feel good. I mean, she felt great in Boss Rush, but we'll talk about that. But honestly, me like checking her out, blue armor, 5 out of 5 Ultima weapon, very disappointing. Honestly, don't got much to say about Lulu, unfortunately.
I do have one thing I want to say about Lulu, which is that this is a horrible fight to showcase Lulu.
Oh yeah.
Why
because
is that?
she does group damage. That's her whole thing. Like her big button is now her LD. Her LD is 7 full AoE dumps. But there's no AoE in this fight. There's 2 targets, but you can't hit one of them, which makes all of her split attacks feel like shit.
She struggles to cap, and on top of that, for some odd reason, she doesn't have brave gains in anything, including her LD. So it's maybe the idea was they were trying to sell Prishe, amping up her brave hits with her BT, but like she just feels awful.
The thing about this fight and the whole like you can't hit the main boss mechanic is it makes split attacks really bad. Because they get the same number of brave hits as in a single target situation, then the HP damage is cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bahamut's
So it makes Lulu's damage
similar,
even worse.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff here that I'm kind of trying to unpack in terms of like the design choices here with Lulu. It felt like with Rydia, there's kind of some useless stuff going on there with her like guaranteed water enchant thing or imperil thing. Especially with Foresight knowing where elements are going to be going in JP. But at the very least, she has that evade, like the evasion.
Yeah, the evasion's really good.
And it's really good. It's like, there's a good reason to use her. With Lulu, from what I can tell, the only reason to bring Lulu is to lock yourself out of Shinryu fights with elemental lockouts. Like, it's actually worse than bringing a non-L. Like, I almost feel like a LD Lulu, in some respects, would be worse than a non-LD Lulu in those kind of situations, because if you don't want to deal fire damage, you have to. For those who don't know, Lulu's kind of gimmick now is she can enchant anyone, including someone who naturally has an element and can't be enchanted, with fire damage, which isn't really much. This fight doesn't even showcase that. Like, I'm trying to think, like, it just wants fire damage. It's like, imagine if it was like, I don't know, you must deal fire damage and one other element or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone would bring their Zondes.
I mean, yes, everyone would bring their Zondes, of course, but like, I feel like there really wasn't any thought to it. It was just like, okay, what do we do with Lulu? Enchants everyone double, and the orb is a fire orb, just a basic fire orb.
No, she got shoehorned in here, because think about how few the LDs were left, and this fight, like Somegi said, when you're doing one boss that can't be touched while the other boss is out, like she said, it is effectively a single target fight at all times. And
no, it's worse. It's worse than a single target fight, because all of her split attacks are cut in half, because that's how split damage works. If there's two targets, it does half the damage to each target, but one of the targets doesn't hit, so she does even less damage than a single target boss.
So she's clearly shoehorned in here, Blart.
So this was a fight that, if you remember, came out during the Vayne cycle, and so it was showcasing. Originally, this fight was showcasing Vayne and Shelke, who are both turn warping single target damage dealers. In fact, they both their reworks kind of did the same thing of giving them a single dump on their skills, because they take so many goddamn turns, and they attack one target for basically all their stuff, as far as I know. So it's really funny to me that they chose this to be the fight that they brought Lulu LD for, because it's one of the worst fights I think they could have done that, because this fight was designed to showcase single target damage dealers, and you're like, oh, let's showcase a group damage dealer in this fight that fundamentally is designed to undermine that. On the bright side, I still love the way the helicopter looks when you launch it. So if you could just save Zidon's next EF forward, I would love that, my man.
That was why I did the funky AA stuff.
Oh, hey, actually, Rock, can you do? No, never mind. I didn't want to showcase something. The next time the ad shows up, I want you to use Cyan's LD call on the big boss, because it'll still hit it.
Oh, it goes
as guaranteed hit, so you can actually hit the boss with Cyan's LD call, even when it's in the evasion mode.
Cool.
I wish I knew that, because as you guys saw at the very beginning, I used Prishe LDCA on it, and it didn't hit, because it's single target.
Cyan does hit it. You could actually just bring Cyan to this fight and use his guaranteed hits to ignore the invasion.
It's funny. Every so often I think back to the tutorial in the first chapter, where then they introduce Saz, and they're like, hey, you can use his aim ability, which is guaranteed hit, on these bats that they get evasion. And I thought to myself, if we have to fight evasive characters, this is going to get so annoying. Like when Maria came out, when she first came up, she was like, oh, she guaranteed hit on her skill 1. And I'm like, okay, well, I bet this boss can be annoying. And I'm glad that they don't pull that trigger too often, but but because it's so infrequent, it feels like a funny trivia thing when it shows up now.
There's a lot of characters who have a lot of guaranteed hits. Lion has it.
Excalibur. Sally Bell with the follow. Appreciate you, Sally Bell. You guys check out Tom Berry Troop. If you're here, you know them 100%, but check them out. The amazing infographics for every new character, carrying the weight of the community on their backs. Excalibur does say that it's possible to have 2 sweepers on the field. I obviously never give them a turn, but how do you get 2 sweepers on the field?
Push 2 thresholds.
And they'll pop both of them out, and then you have to, both of them are you have to kill both of them before you can hit the main guy.
Yeah.
In
And also a little
Do the cyan call.
funny,
Do the cyan call.
a little funny trivia while he's doing the cyan call. I brought Waka here because the boss is immune to debuffs with
Hit
confusion.
the wrong one.
you were supposed to target the helicopter raw.
Oh, what did I do?
Also, did HP damage. So
Still
it,
did
I guess
HP damage him.
either way, it's same difference, but yeah.
Yeah,
Waka
I tried
works?
bringing Waka. I tried bringing Waka
doesn't.
since he has that confusion, and the confusion landed, but the evasion was still there.
I think science base calls also guaranteed hit.
God damn it! I did it again.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
But
It's
so
AoE.
you can see
you
here
can see the split.
how much split damage gets just completely wrecked here. You saw those dumps were doing like 120k instead of the like 250 they were doing before on a single target.
Well, that was a weird little interaction I want to bring up. Obviously it wouldn't matter, but I killed the ad with Zidane BT finisher, and Cisne's follow up, even though the sweeper was dead, did not hit the main guy, but Freya's did. It would never really matter in a run, I don't think, but that's still kind of weird to me. Why did Cisne's not working? Freya's did.
Because Cisne is like after player turn, and then Freya's like after field turn, really. It's like after everything went off, then
Yeah.
Freya goes off.
Cisne is a direct follow-up to the player action, and Freya is just a follow-up no matter what. But Freya better confirmed, like Endo said in chat. But yeah, as you can see here, this was what, 10 minutes? I think some buff fell off of Zidane. Holy shit.
That's probably one of Freya's buffs, right? Or no?
No, it's his skill 1 and skill 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Nah.
Like, one of them's a defense buff. Who cares?
It's a kind of walkover fight. We're almost out of the woods with garbage time, thankfully. But this was one of the worst defenders, I think, as we mentioned, just shoehorning in the LD character with the orb. No real difficulty to the fight. We got to get into boss rush here in a second, but does anybody have any other final thoughts about Shelke's Lost Chapter?
This fight was so boring.
Lulu has 5% Eye Brave as an aura.
Phenomenal.
Hearing that the walk is confused is allowed to stick there and work, it's funny to me because that means they fixed the thing. They fixed the bug. They fixed the confusion preventing it from happening. But they, just to be on the safe side, they also banned all other confusion effects.
So to clarify, actually on the original Shelke event, Waka's Confuse would not prevent the evasion.
Okay, so it just works different.
It's just coded differently from other
Okay, so
effects.
all right. So I guess so they didn't.
You could
fix
only
it.
use the only confuses that worked were Agrius, Porom, and Mog.
So just the generic confused debuff.
Yes.
Okay. Or wait, no.
No. Faded Molly is not a generic
Right.
confuse, but
You're right. It is not. Okay. Well, anyway, let's let this chopper fly off into the horizon and move on to more interesting things.
yeah, actual content.
Take us away, Rob.
Tribute to Top Gun, Raw.
Yeah, I really wish that I know we got a lot of stuff to cover, but I just really wish everyone could see my mustache. It was a Top Gun theme thing. I shaved my beard to a mustache. It looks great. We got a follow from I can't see the name because I moved a thing. Brad, who did you see that? I have made oh, there it is. Uriah Moat 888 with the follow. Appreciate it. We're here every Monday. Come hang out with us Monday nights, 7:30 p.m. Anyway, I've got a mustache. I wish you guys could see it. Doesn't really have anything to do with what we're about to talk about, but there's a boss rush. That's a segue.
There was.
I've got opinions, so I'm gonna let you guys talk about it a little bit while I set up for. It is so hard that I have to actually pay attention to what I'm doing so that I don't die like within 5 seconds. It's tough. It's a global first boss rush. We were told that boss rushes were done, right? There were no more in global in JP, so this is a global first event, and sticking true to form, the global first devs Hard.
Don't say that in front of me now.
The devs who do global first events, shall we say, they don't miss. Straight up, I'll die on this hill. They do not fucking miss from the start of garbage time, and they stay true to form. And this fight is hard. It's tough if you ask me. You do get 4 parties.
Yeah, 4 teams instead of 3.
So it's definitely still accessible. But I think even bringing hard teams, I brought like probably the most OP powerful teams you can bring, just completely trying to grief it. And I only used 3 parties, but it was still hard to get to do it with just 3 parties. I think is a challenge of itself. Treevoid's in chat. Check out Treevoid's challenge. He's got some. If it's too easy for you, check out his challenges. TCC Discord has those. But I'm gonna get my team set up for this boss rush because I don't want to die on stream. What do you guys think about this boss rush? Blart, do you want to go first? Tell us how you feel.
So I had mixed feelings because I was kind of glad when they got rid of the old boss rush format because I used to find boss rush just took too long for my taste, and I thought it was a nifty idea that I felt 6-man implemented better in terms of just making me stretch my roster more. I just thought other formats did it better than boss rush did. That being said, the design of the enemies in this boss rush I thought was. I feel like this is what Lufenia Plus should have been, because what Lufenia Plus was in practice was it was Lufenia, but they just jacked up the numbers. They jacked up the stats. It's literally just Lufenia, but the numbers are bigger, and you have to make your numbers bigger to compensate, and that's all that was. I feel like this is what it should have been, because what it basically is they took the Lufenia concept, which is, endgame fight, and there's this orb that you have to respect and interact with somehow. And they took that basic concept and kind of evolved it. So it went from like, okay, you just need to check this box. You need to bring fire damage. You need to instant break. You need to have a rebreaker. You need to reduce damage of the Brave Shield. You have to play with a character from Final Fantasy 12 or something like that. And that used to be the formula. Just check a box, or maybe check 2 boxes if we're feeling spicy. With this, each boss had multiple components to their orb and to their own. Like the actual bosses, had the capacity for violence on top of the orb. But each orb had like multiple components that you had to balance, and it wasn't just like, oh, it has 3 orb conditions, and I have to pick which one I satisfy. It's like, no, you have to respect all 3 of them, otherwise it's not going to work. Also, as Excalibur pointed out in the chat, they brought back the Pinello mannequin, which I didn't know. For some reason I thought it was a Hope mannequin, and I couldn't see it because of how they position the characters. So I was just like, okay, there's a mannequin on the other side of my B. All right, what's gonna happen? And then I saw the mannequin start spinning, and I said, oh no, and then I wiped. So that was fun. But yeah, I kind of was in a similar boat to you, where I was basically like, boss rush. Okay, I'm gonna stomp this, and it was tricky. It was tricky. I ended up using 4 teams. I didn't want to go back and redo the previous team, so I just kind of clutched out with a 4th team. But there was some big numbers and some very creative application of Lufenia orb concept, which I really appreciated. I know you have some thoughts on that.
I wanted to weigh in on the whole positioning enemies so you can't see them. Shell Class Chapter was the worst fight in the game because I couldn't click on the fucking little ad. It was just behind my character. I couldn't click on it. It was horrible.
We saw it in play just a few moments ago when Raw targeting the main helicopter instead of the mini one because he couldn't click on it.
That's what happened. No. I tried my very best, and it wasn't my fault.
He did his best. It was just the UI was too bad.
I just wish there was probably like maybe a button that allows us to have like maybe a top-down version of like what we're fighting, because like these positionings, like how Samegi said it, Shelke one and then wave 2 of this boss rush, like it's annoying.
Yeah, so
you could just tap the turn order, tap the icon on the turn order as a way of selecting a target.
Yeah, and with this boss rush, I think logistically what we're going to do as we go through, I don't know if we'll have time to finish the whole boss rush, but each wave is actually so engaging and so important to talk about. We'll go through wave by wave what happened, because like Blart was saying, if you go into this like I'm just going to blow it up with whatever, you're not. You're just not going to. Me and Samegi were talking off stream about it a little bit. I think this is hard. I think this is like as hard as content has ever been, other than like Hell Week for Chaos.
I don't think I'd agree with that, but
if you don't, especially if you try to bring only three teams, I brought the most overpowered team, obviously, and here's another version of an incredibly overpowered team. If you fall asleep or you don't pay attention, any one of the 3 waves. Actually, I don't know if the Elva Rays are very dangerous because I just smoked them.
oh, they're extremely. I thought that was the hardest wave.
So exactly. So then I didn't know that because I just burned them down. But the other 2 are they're so dangerous. Any just lack of engagement or not paying attention, you'll get wiped. You'll just get wiped instantly. Which of course never happens to me because I'm such a careful and smart player. But let's talk about Wave 1. Let's talk about Wave 1. You get 2
right.
Optimuses.
The Gladio boss.
Right. Some girl, tell us what the orb is and what the deal with these guys are.
Well, I want to start out by saying how funny I think that the start of this wave is, because the gimmick with these guys, if you remember the last time we fought them and the time before that, was they would spike their defense, and you needed to break them to lower their defense, right? You remember at the start of like Gladio's Lost Chapter, that's when Sabin was featured with the defense ignore.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was you had to use that to break the boss, which would lower their defense. And when you start this wave, it pops up with like inflict break to lower their defense, but you can't break them. I thought that was really funny.
The brave floor mechanic rears its ugly head again. Bart, what were you gonna say?
Just that I just realized I just thought that I had misread the thing, but that's so funny. That's God damn it.
So these guys, these have the lowest health out of all the waves. The health is actually pretty low here. You can kind of rush these guys down pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
The orb here is a bit tricky. It is that you have to take consecutive turns and deal at least 400,000 damage on the second of your consecutive turns.
Yeah, and they have a little visible marker, which is helpful, like they did in a couple fights where it'll say, this is 1 turn and 2nd turn, which there's been a lot of fights that could have used that more than this. But XCal's in chat talking about the no brave gain aura. That's another level of this. Hitting 400,000 on a 2nd turn is a little tougher if you can't brave gain at all. And these guys have a no brave gain mechanic, right?
Yeah, that was also part of the thing, was you'd have to inflict break to get rid of that aura in their original iteration, which I just thought it was very funny that they were like, yeah, here's this fight. It's the same mechanic, but you can't break them now, so you can't actually do the mechanic.
Yeah, and
which has been a kind of common theme, I think, with a lot of these global first fights, right? Like, we got the needle snake rerun in the
Crevasse.
No, that wasn't in Crevasse.
Abyss.
It was in the Equinox.
Eclipse.
Oh yeah.
And their whole mechanic was don't give them too many debuffs, otherwise they spike their stats and stuff. And then the orb was give them too many debuffs.
Yeah. Which to me, that fight, I think I was on the losing end of this argument, but that fight specifically, not to go too far back, but I thought that was a great balancing act. A lot of people were mad. A lot of people were mad. They're like, "Oh, it's the game. The mechanics is attacking." It's like, no, it's not. It's actually synergistic, asking you to balance it in a careful way and requiring you to pay attention. But one thing I wanted to mention about these guys, you said they have really low health, which is true. Well, the next guy is Bahamut, and you don't want to summon there. My biggest problem when I was trying to run cool teams, which I never finished, but was I couldn't get my summon up because you don't want to summon against Bahamut, because when you come out of summon, he does the typical Bahamut thing, counter Mega Flare and Curaga. So I wanted to summon on the first wave, and I could not do it. Obviously, I probably could have brought Sylph or something, or like a faster summon,
or bring launches.
Bring launches. It is kind of interesting though, where you kind of, a lot of teams that I was seeing team comp wise were kind of struggling to get all their summons off, because whatever team, or especially if you're bringing 2 teams, the whole Bahamut stage you can't really summon. So
right.
It's a balancing act. Blind Eye, I haven't heard from you much, man. What did you think about the first wave?
The first wave, I thought it was a very neat idea, sealing Brave gains, because it felt like they were trying to sell Brave damage cap up in a way. Like, oh, since nobody could, gain Brave to, consistently cap their damage, your only source to cap your damage would be to amp up your Brave damage cap up so you can hit a higher ceiling.
Right.
So I thought it was really interesting.
Or Prishe, I think this sold Prishe well. She force the criticals and then also do more Brave attacks.
And has defense ignoring a lot of her kit too.
Yeah, and
these guys are pretty tanky.
And then for the rest of the party, they're also oh shit, I never pressed her BT phase, so nobody else is doing it. But the rest of your party also can hit more Brave hits, and with no Brave gain, obviously you've got to hit as hard as you can on your Brave attacks. So I love this. Bart, what were you gonna say?
So just a little tag onto that. There were banners that came with this, which were reduxes of a bunch of stuff we've already gotten, including Gilgamesh BT and LD, and
this orb.
Yeah, and so I saw this orb, and I said in chat, or I said in Discord, man, this reminds me of why I hate Gilgamesh's rework his LD design so much, because they had to come up with such a specific niche orb to make him a unit, like a first string unit you want to bring to a fight. Because otherwise, why would you want to bring this character to this fight over other characters? And someone was like, yeah, I think it was intended for Prishe, not Gilgamesh, and I kind of just lost it.
Did you pull a raw life and just lose your mind?
I had to take a step outside. I was pretty salty.
Real quick, let me interject real quick. Chris 5258, canonically my favorite DFFOO streamer, has rated us. Chris, thank you. If you guys don't know Chris, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, please check him out. He's doing some First Soldier stuff that's cool. He does a lot of DFFOO stuff that is also cool. Check out Chris. Bart, what were you saying?
Oh, just that Gilgamesh is another one of those characters, as we keep talking about, who rely pretty exclusively on just dealing Brave damage to do anything. So, he was another beneficiary of the design of this fight, although that's kind of intended, super synergy BT character.
Yeah, there was a bunch of I actually have not figured this out or really thought about it. There was a ton of characters that were just randomly synergy for this. Is there
not randomly? They're on banners, so there are two banners that came with the fight.
So the two banners were some girl who were Gilgamesh.
All right, so Gilgamesh, Aiko, and Leela.
Right.
And then the other one was Cait Sith LD, Porom LD, and Prishe BT.
So Porom and Cait
got their C90.
They were scheduled
and rework.
Yes.
It actually came a little bit early, if I
Porom
right.
came early as well. JP got Porom during Vincent.
I fucked this up because I didn't use my
BT finisher.
Yeah, I could have used the BT finisher. I should have used the BT finisher at the very beginning because we're at 17 turns total, and we're not going to get.
You should just press it right now.
But
you get a whole BT phase use out of it.
Porom and Cait got their C90s. We'll kind of work them in here as well because I didn't use either of them. I used Porom in something. Maybe I did use Porom here. Let me check. No, I did not. Yeah, I did. I used Porom in my second team. Porum's doing a lot of damage now. She got her C90, and obviously she's not a damage dealer. She doesn't do any Brave hits. But does anybody want to talk about Porom? What she got?
I suppose I can. The big change here for Porom is that her EX now does 4 full HP dumps, and her follow-up does 3 HP dumps, and it's still based on your party's HP. So you could literally, C65, which is improved because she got her C90 now, and she just does 3 HP dumps. She feels really nice. She's still, very defensive, has the, 70% HP damage taken down on her EX. So yeah, if you want to, if bringing a tank isn't offering you enough safety and you want to bring, something to guarantee your team survival at that point, Porom fits the bill. Her damage is pretty decent, and And yeah, she's really good.
And again, with her, with the Ultima Weapon biases, we're getting to a point, we kind of use it as a joke, but I mean, characters with good Ultima Weapon types are, especially for veterans right now, they're a lot more attractive. And nobody's really having to pull for Porom, probably. She was so just ungodly hyped when she first came out. It doesn't really probably affect most people's pull plans, but I'm going to use her probably a lot more than I would if she had like a unique, for example, Ultimate Weapon. Having a staff Ultimate Weapon, she feels really good. I used her in the second team here, and like you said, her damage, especially not being reliant on Brave hits, is nothing to scoff at for a quote unquote pure support. It's pretty nice. Anybody have any thoughts on Porom, Blart, or Samegi?
He's good.
I've just been
Really
hit.
Oh,
No, I'm
a really
fine.
solid fundamental design. Yeah, just a really solid fundamental design that they've tuned up to be kind of competitive with modern modern needs, and so that's gonna be good times if you want to use Porom. You're gonna enjoy probably using Porom.
Yeah, and the other was Cait Sith, or Cait She. I'm sorry, Cait She. got C90, another character that most people, especially if you're into his kind of thing, his kind of niche, that you probably already pulled for him. But if not, he got he got C90 now, and he's better. Blart, I believe. Oh my goodness, Tree Void, gifting 5 tiers to this community. Die hard loyal supporter of this chat. I do want to take a second real quick to shout out Tree Void and Multiracial Lion. Tree Void is a good friend of this show. They are actually going to get together and do a little stream every other Wednesday. Tree Void, if you want to put some of the details in chat, I apologize. I don't know the exact details, but Tree Void and Multiracial Lion, you may know from the ranting hour, they're going to get together and do a little show for you guys on, I think, every other Wednesday. So shout out Tree Void. Thank you very much. And check them out when they start going live on Tree Void's YouTube channel. Blart, I don't want to slander your name, so don't get mad, but you blued Cait She.
I did blue Cait She, and I had a few reasons for doing that. The first reason is when I was a little kid playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time, I thought he was funny looking, and I was like, okay, this is great. He was one of the first. It was one of the first times I had encountered a playable, like, non-human, kind of weird-looking character as like a playable character in a video game. I mean, we all have Yoshi and stuff. Like, you don't actually get to control and use Yoshi as like one of your main characters. So that was very novel to me. At least you couldn't back in 1990, whenever I was playing that. So I had an attachment to him for that. On top of that, it was kind of a tribute to Dreamy from the Tombre Troupe. He and I were we both really enjoyed Cait She for our own reasons, and I just was when he retired, I was like, oh, okay, fine. And so there's a little mini tribute I blued him. The third reason actually is just kind of niche. I thought he would work really well with Vayne back when Vayne LDBT came out, and so I actually ran the two of them together quite a bit because Vayne has a crit damage capabilities, and he has trouble capping. Cait She has a 100% crit chance buff, and he helps you cap. So those two were a good way for me to kind of use Vayne without everyone being like, oh, Blart just runs 1% teams in Lufenia Plus. Still said that.
I hate to interject here real quick, but we are going to die. And this fight is way too long to try to restart. We're getting into the Bahamut stage. He only responds to summon, not burst, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So I can
You
burst.
can
So you'll be fine.
I think I'm gonna just burst with her instead of. We're getting so into the conversation here. I'm not doing the run like I did. If you're just joining us, we're pretty much bringing about as strong of a team as you can to this boss rush, so we can finish it in a reasonable time. But we talked about the first wave, very dangerous. This wave, somehow more dangerous. Blart, are you done with Cait Sith? What else? Well, tell us about his kit.
So what did he get in the C90? I think he got like 1 or 2. I think he got an extra dump or 2 on his LD, which is nice because that's a decent damage button for a support, and it's good utility with the instant break. And he generally doesn't need all 4 uses to upkeep his buff over the course of the fight, so it's nice for like burst damage. The big pieces of it are that his skill 1 is now a triple dump full AoE. It is still 6 alternating brave hits, which is bad and dumb and just not. I don't know why they do that. So the targeting can get weird, and it's not nearly as damaging as it looks at first. But because of his own LD passive, the 20% brave gain every time you hit something with a brave attack, he's still able to cap pretty reliably in current content. And then lastly, his EX dice now hits. I want to say it's a four dump attack with a bunch of brave hits, and potency once again is still reliant on that dice RNG because of C90 buffs. It doesn't matter; it's always going to cap, especially with his LD. So the short version is all he really got was he already was kind of a fundamentally solid character, but he accepted that his personal damage sucked, and now his personal damage is on par with other comparable supports. So he's going to be probably keeping up with your, with your Poroms, with your Sarahs, with whatever supports you're bringing these days. Short of course, like. Anyway.
No, he's out damaging Lulu.
He's out damaging Lulu. Sorry, guys. Anyway, and he does have that HP split on his armor, so I stand by my decision to blue him, even though I wouldn't encourage other people to do so. There are other better choices for blues out there, but I enjoyed using him there. And he has weird little utilities here and there as a support. The instant break on his LD, the crit chance buff, and he has both burst and regen healing, which is kind of nice. I'd say his main downsides at this point are that he doesn't really provide any party defense beyond just HP regen, so you can't really rely on him to protect the party from like a actual proper damaging fight. And he actually has a fairly low attack aura and no brave damage aura, so while he buffs brave hits, it's a weird balance using him on a team because you want a lot of brave hits, but you also want brave gain up, which he doesn't provide outside of his AA. So building around him is kind of wonky. As we all know, of course, you could just slap his 2-turn LD call on like Freya or something and use that instead. Anyone else use or pull Ketchi and want to comment on him?
I think you kind of hit on like my sort of, I guess, issue with the character has always kind of been I never felt like there was a reason to bring him in the party.
I sort of felt that way as well. His call is still pretty high value. I use his call so much. I still use it even now.
The main reason to bring him in the party is because he blued his armor as a tribute to a departed friend.
That is valid.
Rip Creamy, we all met.
Also, again, not dead, just gone from the game. As happened often in garbage time. A lot of friends not dead, but gone too soon. Yeah, my only experience with Cait. She is strictly in a call capacity, so I'm happy for your blue. I've just opened a beer and it's literally exploded all over my body. Someone else is gonna have. I am covered, absolutely covered in beer.
His call was also really good in this boss rush.
Is the beard okay, Raw?
I have a mustache now.
The beard is gone.
You have a mustache.
We haven't really got into Bahamut. Cait Sheet, a lot of C90s. They're more usable now. It's a beautiful thing about C90. If you love him, or if you love Dreamy, you can use him.
And he has a unique weapon type. So once again, ultimate weapon type. So like you just passively, if you're investing for other unique ultimate weapons, you may passively be able to slot them in on the team there.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah,
a lot of unique weapons this month, and apparently counting.
I think unique ultimate weapon is one of the best investments you can make.
That great sword and short sword, I think they're just far and away.
Well, I just think that it's had a string of really good unique ultimate weapon users that is like continuing.
Dagger, Dagger ultimate weapon users. Rally,
it's not
raise
in
up.
A great spot
Let's
right
go,
now.
baby.
Let's
go, baby. 5 of 5 Dagger.
So far, we got Lulu, Shelke. Now we got Ketchi. I
Realm.
think tomorrow we're getting 2 more, and then Realm is apparently.
And we recently got Arciela, Charlotta,
Selfie as well.
Yeah, it's a good ultimate weapon.
Yeah,
not bad. So Wave 1 we already talked about. Wave 2 is Bahamut, and this is for me. This was the most annoying wave. He immediately calls Penelo Mannequin. Anybody who remembers, what was it? Was it Garland?
Not
twins.
This is BT plus.
Well, the original was the twins.
Okay, yeah.
BT.
But you're
Well,
fighting Garland or something, wasn't it?
It was a Lamia queen.
Yeah.
And she called Penelo. Apparently, you can survive her first turn with enough. Well, obviously, if you completely negate it, but Evanescence.
Yeah, you can also HP silence her.
Oh, you can HP silence her with
Yep.
Arciela.
I brought Arciela here.
You can't Bahamut, but you can Penelo.
Okay, so he immediately calls her, and she's just a huge pain in the ass because she uses Evanescence immediately. Luckily, her HP is incredibly low, and you can just wipe her out. But Bahamut does a bunch of stuff. His orb is player ability, grants target at least 100% of max brave in one turn, or count target takes critical brave damage. The orb isn't as big as a problem as his turn warping. So at certain points, he will turn warp and get how many turns in a row?
He has 3 turns. So what triggers the turn warp actually is when his orb hits the max.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like so if you don't do something and he has the orb up, so when the orb appears, he fills his recast gauge, and if the orb is still there when he gets his turn, he'll use the plus version of Mega Flare, which will kill you. If he gets to 15, he loses the focus power, the orb goes away. You get a weaker version of the attack, which will still probably kill you. You're probably about to die.
Yeah, actually, as you were talking about it, I realized I
think it's split.
No, I know, but
there's a lot of brave hits here.
I have a Warrior of Light call on someone I was supposed to use, and I completely forgot it. This is absolutely going to kill me because I ran this fight a lot with this team. That's a huge bummer. But that's a good learning lesson for everybody watching. Oh, whoa!
Well, actually, maybe with the dodge, you might.
Let's go, Layla!
Yeah, see, I told you.
Best player in the game.
I knew it wasn't going to kill me. I was just trying to get down to you baddies level. But look at me, I'm alive.
Yeah, that's a tough one. No, for some reason I thought it was the tremors were being triggered by the recast charging.
No. So the recast just fills itself at the thresholds when orb appears at 80%, 50%, and 30%. And also, if his recast gauge just fills up normally from him taking turns.
Right, and so that's his big, most dangerous thing that he presents. But also, other weird little thing, you can't summon. If you're in, if you're in this weird aura area, I don't know how this happens, but whenever you're in this area, you cannot summon at all. Then, when you're able to summon, if you do so and don't kill him, he will counter with huge Curaga and also a huge plus version of the Mega Flare. So
that is actually dodgeable.
Oh, it's not guaranteed.
That is dodgeable.
Okay. Well, either way, he responds in kind if you summon and don't kill him. So there's a lot of moving parts to this fight. Bahamut alone is a lot, but then also, especially for teams that aren't bringing a lot of damage mitigation, the Penelo Mannequin is just a huge pain in the ass. What has happened to my Prishe?
What do you mean?
Why is her Brave and HP attacks blue? What fell off?
Did you let her...
Everything fell off.
EX? You just haven't used her EX in a while. Nothing's fallen off.
Why is her Brave and HP blue? It doesn't matter.
Her base goes?
I don't use them anyway. Excalibur
and 25% HP heal.
Excalibur in chat, saying Curaga heals 25% of himself. So you can't let that happen.
Well, basically, that's only going to be relevant if you summoned in the previous phase and carry the summon over into, enter this phase during summon phase. That's really where you're going to see that. And, don't do that, basically.
Yeah. Oh, shit, he summons another mannequin and kills the one mannequin that's at low HP.
Yeah, at the threshold it resummons the mannequin.
Oh, we're dead. 50%. This is Mega Flare Plus. Yeah, we're dead. Oh, no, we're not dead, baby!
Are you...
Garnet's got last stand.
Are you going to meet HP requirement at this rate?
Shit.
Damn.
No, I have to heal on this turn. Shit, and I don't have any heals.
Wait, is Garnet's thing gonna? Does Garnet's thing heal when it goes off?
Yeah, but this is his last turn. No, this is
But it's
like
4 stacks. Is it
It'll
gonna-
go off though. It'll go off on this turn thoh.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
they
gonna
have
be
a shit ton of
the,
health.
I wonder how this is
follow-up
gonna work.
doesn't heal. The follow-up doesn't heal.
bullshit. Garnet sucks.
Yeah, garbage character.
Nope. Okay, so we're not gonna hit. This was more of a explanation anyway. This is the team that I use, so I was just showing them. We'll fail the HP requirement, but what were we talking about before I took a fucking Mega Flare to the face? No, Mega Flare plus to the face.
I think I just want to mention this fight has a ton of health.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
Bahamut has 37 million HP,
I want to point out
which
that
is a lot to truck through.
Garnet's follow-up did not go
A
off.
lot to
because he
chuck
sucked.
through without summon some Eggy.
Yeah, with no summon too.
Yeah, that's another big part of that fight that's super frustrating is that you can't use the summon at all unless you're going to kill him. I've got an answer for all the people who are talking about how rough Bahamut, how heavy he is with his HP. Boom, get him below 50 and bring this guy right here. And then
Oh god.
and this is also worth mentioning. You can switch Ultima weapons across teams. So each team,
Yes.
I used Garnet staff 5/5, and now I'm using Seymour staff 5/5, and then on my last team I'll use Yuna staff 5/5, and you can keep using it on each team. And for some reason, the party use screen will only show the last person who had it, which is
Well,
kind
it
of
just shows what everyone has equipped right now.
well, yeah, what everyone has equipped once you finish the fight, which
Yeah.
looks kind of weird, but
Yeah, I used my Ultimate Fist 3 times.
I see Raw is still inhaling the Seymour copium.
wait till you see this damage, my friend. And it's not because I'm bringing. Wait till you see who else I'm bringing. Again, this team was
Let me
just.
guess, Cait Sith?
No, it's Porom. But again, this is an incredibly overpowered team, which is fine. All three of my teams are incredibly overpowered, but this is a tough fight, man, and it feels good after I tried it a bunch of times with a lot less powerful teams and died over and over. It felt really good to just kind of smash it with this.
Oh, you're bringing Snow.
Oh yeah.
That's how you're making Seymour do damage.
Snow, Porom, and Seymour. Seymour carrying. I don't want to hear any statistics or math about why he's doing 2 million every time I press a button. I don't care. The math doesn't matter to me. The fact is, I press a button, he does 2 million damage. Okay? So, just watch and learn if you're a Seymour hater.
The other thing about this particular wave is it's very, very heavy defense. And a lot of units will have a hard time doing brave damage against this guy. Outside of defense ignore units or brave gates. Trying to sell Cait Sith here.
And the orb was never an issue for me. I guess
crit.
it's crit, but also
Brave gains, yeah.
max brave gains. So luckily, I mean, Jesus, if they would have made his orb like incredibly hard to counter, this could have been one of the hardest fights ever for the 3 waves, because this is already very engaging and it asks a lot of questions, and that's without. I'm just gonna do this. That's without even having a really. What is happening? There's that high damage that high brave you were talking, or the high defense you were talking about. Jesus!
Yeah.
He was relying on Seymour and Snow's impressive offensive auras.
Yeah, the thing about Porom is she's never really had like a high attack aura.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't even on the field there.
Yeah.
Well, her aura still count when you use a call.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Cool.
Oh, that's the thing about
characters. Oh yeah, no, characters' auras and such apply. Like even if like a BT character brings in like a call, like that call will have like whatever BT auras is in play.
I've been for months,
and as
like,
well as their
weeks, I've
HP
been-
cap if they're like a blue armor character.
I've been this whole time I've been trying to like min max by putting Scion on my like least auraful character, and I've just been wasting minutes of my life. Minutes.
I'll never get those minutes back.
Damn it.
Excalibur says the thing about Seymour here is if you enter Wave 3 with Seymour, he's going to have a hard time, which is normally true, but as you'll see in this run, just the support that I'm giving him, he's fine for the first couple turns on Wave 3 until I bring in the third team to kind of clean up. Obviously, he's facing Bahamut when he's got under 50. So the automatic debuff he has or whatever, it's he immediately joins the fray with his most powerful form.
Look at that brave damage from Snow's BT finisher.
What is going on?
I told you, he's got crazy defense.
I told you, man, the Seymour copium.
Yeah, no one else can do damage, so let's see how Seymour does. Boom. Huge damage. Let's go.
Well, it's because Snow means you.
Boom, baby! Questions?
Boom.
I don't want to hear math. I don't want to know why. Don't tell me this is why Seymour's doing huge damage. Just look at him do the huge damage. Wasn't that huge? What the
numbers
fuck?
don't lie.
Oh, maybe get a little defense? Yeah, it was already on there. Jesus. Yeah, he's got high defense. He's tough to hurt. He's incredibly dangerous on his turns. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm getting kind of carried away with all the talk. I think I need to use my Warrior of Light Call once on this.
You have a tank. Just press Steel Guard.
I know, but I don't think he tanks. I don't think he tanks.
You have 2 units on your team who mitigate HP damage.
Oh yeah, when Porom uses her EX, it like completely is fine. But you do have to be careful, even with a defensive team. You still have to be careful because this guy can get 3 turns in a row. Admittedly, one of the turns is normally yeah, fuck y'all. I am not taking it. I'm just doing it.
So as you can see here, I want to point out something. The recast just filled up, which means the orb appeared.
Right.
Okay, Seymour has a tack down kit, so Raw will be fine.
And also Snow, and also Porom. Once her EX comes up, I don't remember what the statistic is, but her EX protects everybody hugely.
Yeah, 70% HP damage reduction, which stacked with Snow should be 100%.
Yeah. I am a little confused about how. He's gonna jump. Wait a second. No, we're fine. We're just gonna beat him up for.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're
we're
also
actually
getting the
fine.
secondary orb condition.
Yeah, especially with Porom. I should hit it on everything, right? Or at least her EX.
Well, it's not just Porom. Like Seymour just ticked the secondary orb condition because of Snow's BT effect, he gained enough Brave over the course of his turn to be much more than his max Brave.
Yeah, the way I dealt with the orb in this fight was I used Vaughn and Bosch on my team, and both of them refund a whole bunch between their attacks.
Okay. Actually, Max Brave up summon was a poor decision.
It's not.
It doesn't matter, but
It's actually funny because we've gotten the same orb condition before on the Lena fight, if you remember.
Yeah, they were selling Lena, and they wanted you to freaking Brave gain based on 100% of M Brave because of her LD and her HP plus.
Yeah.
I don't think you ticked the orb enough.
I didn't use her EX. Surely everybody will be fine. Yeah. Oh, I used the Warrior Light Call. I'm totally fine.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
I think that we would have been okay anyway, though, because he's got Seymour's debuff, and then we also have, well...
Snow's negation?
Yeah, Snow's... Oh, he wiped all his debuffs.
What
about his regen? We forgot to talk about his regen. If you do let fucking Penelo move, not only does she do her big HP damage attack, she also gives... Wait, it's not on there. Am I stupid?
Yeah, there's an HP regen that's supposed to be.
Yeah. What happened?
I think you're confusing it with her regen waltz that she does after.
Oh, okay. So, but
is.
she does throw up. If you let her move twice, then she does throw up an HP regen that's pretty hefty. Which, by the way, I'm not trying to sell Seymour here, but Seymour dispels it. So,
Yep.
if you're a Seymour fan, you're eating.
And if you're a Seymour fan, please don't talk to us.
the better answer is to obviously just not let Pinello move. But if you do, and he does get that big
Or
chunky
HP silencer.
or HP silencer, worst case scenario, you can dispel that with Seymour or any other dispeller. Any other thought? We're gonna truck this guy's last 20%. Any other thoughts on Bahamut Pinello wave? For me, this was the toughest wave, I think.
Toughest for me as well. I one-teamed it with 2 off-turn damage dealers. Surprisingly, it wasn't Cisne. It was Alpha Nod and Freya. I just took a million years because Alfie.
Yeah, if you had told me, like, at the end of our last show that the hardest Bahamut fight we were having was not going to be Divine Bahamut this cycle, I would have been surprised, but hey, here it is.
Yeah, it's obviously if you have the roster and you have the answers, you'll be fine. But especially if you're trying to do something cute, something creative, there's a lot of questions asked on every wave, and I don't remember who brought it up, but the team comps really matter, especially when you transition from wave to wave. Wave 1 asks you these questions that you have to answer. Wave 2 asks you completely different ones.
Wait,
quick.
Rod,
What'd you say,
do you
Blart?
want me to save you from having problems?
Yeah, you're thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah, you should dispel that.
Yeah, but the problem is
I can't
Seymour's
dispel.
core issue is
No,
how
no, no, no,
slow
no.
he
You
is.
can.
So, yeah.
You
look
actually can
at your
dispel it.
calls.
Look at one of your highlight one of your calls.
Not
Let
that one.
me be very
that one.
clear. I know there's people in here with us. This is let me be very clear. If you guys ever speak to me like a small kindergarten child, ever again, there's going to be serious drama on this show. Okay? As soon as you guys talked about the dispel, I said I don't have dispel, and then I started looking. I was like, oh wait, okay, Zion, and then here we go, 3 people at once. Oh, well, hey buddy, maybe you should check out your call. Okay, all right, okay, I got it. Real quick though, not
Yeah,
to,
actually.
where is the dispel in these calls?
It actually doesn't work.
Oh shoot!
Oh no, it's
Damn.
when inflicting a break.
Oh my god. Okay, well we were incorrect here.
Okay, so don't talk to me like a kindergartner when I don't actually
Hey,
have the answer.
Turns out we're the ones who learned something here today.
Yeah, but what I was saying here is, this is one of Seymour's core problems. He
should
is
probably
unbearably slow.
Yeah, I get to your burst and kill it.
I don't need to burst because it's only 750k region.
Like 3 times before Seymour gets
Yeah.
to go again.
Oh,
Look where Seymour's turn is.
shit. I guess I have to burst here. That actually fucks up my team comps because I typically burst with Snow in the 3rd wave, but whatever.
You can summon in that way instead.
Yeah, we've also got to finish this fight as soon as possible. So let's kill this guy. I know I already asked for closing thoughts about Bahamut, but in general, I'm a huge fan of this fight in particular. Blart mentioned earlier, not really loving. Also, I'm going to completely fuck up this rotation because I don't know how to use Snow.
Make sure you Frost Strike before you use the EX because it recovers skill use.
And he used the
Didn't do it. I wasn't a big fan of the boss rush format beforehand. I've never really enjoyed most of the boss rushes. It just felt kind of like almost like trash nodes, but just with more options or a longer time in
I
the
think
fight.
some of the boss rushes have been better.
I mean, some of the boss rushes haven't been horrible, but I've just never really loved. I think this boss rush is far and away, not even close, my favorite boss rush.
Early boss rushes were pretty good. I think it was just honestly that boss rush didn't scale well with Lufenia Plus, and that in
I don't
turn
know if I
kind of. Hmm?
I was gonna say, I think the earliest boss rushes were like pretty trash too. Like the first one with like 2 parties.
Oh, the Fury
Yeah.
one? Yeah,
That one was
Fury
real
boss
easy.
rush.
Wait, I'm not gonna kill him. He's gonna get 750k HP back.
Summon on Porom's turn.
I
Can't summon.
Can't summon.
He can't summon.
Oh damn!
And it's not fully charged yet either.
It's a big bummer. It's
And
actually
he's
a
about to
huge
get-
problem.
and he's
Yeah.
about to get Mega Flare.
Yeah, it's actually a huge problem. Hold on. No, I mean we're okay.
Where
We're just
did
gonna.
the HP regen go?
He didn't regen.
It went away.
Yeah, the buff went away.
What
1,
happened
2,
there?
3,
Can we get a replay on that, guys?
Wait,
Yeah,
what
no,
just
it was
happened?
at It was at
I
3
don't know.
turns.
It was there and then it suddenly wasn't.
Best player in the world. Best player in the world. I can't
Is
stand.
that part of it?
I can't handle an HP regen right here. My teams are too tight, so it just it's quite simply did not HP regen. If anybody wants to look at that tape and explain to us what just happened, that was actually super weird, and it's gone. I mean, it's
Cel says that he dispels the HP region after his turn.
oh Sally Bell, Tomberry Troop. Thank you. So after his first turn, he dispels it.
Oh,
so he
only
did.
does it once.
So he did. He did 750k,
He did region, yes.
and then he
That I
stopped.
saw.
Okay.
So why is it a 3-turn buff? They could
Yeah,
have
that's
just
crazy.
made it a 1-turn buff.
Shout out
should
Sally
press-
Bell. Thank you.
Just press Porom's AA and then kill it.
I should kill it here. Oh God Almighty.
I don't think it will.
I've still got Warrior of Light call up on Seymour because he's so slow. Blind Eye trying to slight
But he has no
Seymour.
shield left.
Yeah, but he's. Oh.
Well, what was that? Because I did bring Jack in here, Raw.
How did that go? How was Jecht on the?
Oh, amazing, man.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was good here. I brought him and Lulu together, and it was a good time.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Okay, so this happened to me as well. This is apparently a very frequent bug where it saved your progress, but the app will just randomly crash after you kill Bahamut. Maybe it's because the anti-summon field disappears, but this happened in my first run as well.
It happened to me on my phone, but
Yeah, I've heard about this a lot. I didn't happen to
yeah.
me personally.
It
But
happened to me on my phone, but also what happened was with this same team, I went into Wave 3, and all the buffs that come up at the beginning, obviously,
I got that.
I have Star Wars text turned off, but just the specific buffs and your sphere buffs, they all popped up, and each one of them had like 12 pictures of the character.
Of the same person.
Yeah, so like all Snow's buffs popped up, and it had like 12 pictures of Snow side by side. So it's spaghetti code, we'll be okay. We have time to do this last wave, right, y'all? Let's see. It's the Elvarez.
I think this last wave is pretty hard, but
I can bring just the most ridiculously broken team.
there probably were more like ways of not dealing with the mechanics, but the mechanics here are pretty tricky.
Well, let's at least talk about the Elvarez. We maybe not finish the fight, but wave 1 and 2 both difficult. I on my run kind of burned them down, didn't have to deal with them at all. What do they do?
So just like the last couple times we fought them, they get a stacking buff. At every so many actions, they'll give themselves another stack of the buff that actually does carry over between parties. So if they get to 3 stacks on the first party, you bring in the next party. The next time they power up, they'll give themselves 4 stacks. And this buff is kind of like when it gets to 5 stacks, it's got big stat down, debuff, bad stuff.
I think HP damage dealt up as well.
Yeah, and they also these guys are immune to all debuffs.
Yeah.
Which tricked me because if I remember these guys right, the stacking buff they put on has a chance to, like, the higher it goes, the higher their debuff evasion gets. So I was like, okay, I'll drop my debuffs now before that thing stacks up because I knew they had that buff. And then afterwards, realized, oh, I wasn't unlucky. They just are immune to all debuffs beside them having debuff evasion.
Yep.
Damn them.
Yeah, I brought Zach here, and his lock debuff did not work. So, their orb has a bunch of. What were you gonna say?
Oh, the debuff lowers your stats, so you'll have like really low Embrave attack, stuff like that, which can make it actually pretty hard for certain characters to do damage if you don't dispel it.
Which this was kind of a Yuna showcase stage, right? A lot of people brought Yuna here.
Yuna doesn't dispel.
No, she cleans. Oh, it's not an actual debuff. It's a buff.
No, it's
on
an aura.
It's an aura from their buff. So if this buff here gets to 5 stacks, so why is everybody bringing Yuna? Do they debuff as well?
A super synergy character, I guess. Maybe is she?
She's not super synergy. No,
I have no idea.
The synergy characters at this spell would be Shelke.
Yeah, Shelke's LD.
And I think that's it.
Doesn't Gilgamesh have a dispel?
Yuna doesn't rely on debuffs, has big auras.
Gilgamesh does not.
Well, in any case, you don't want that buff to get to 5 stacks. In chat, they're talking about Balthier.
Yeah,
Balthier
I actually use Balthier here.
He can rip that. He can rip that debuff.
He steals that. Yeah, he steals that, and he's like amazing because like his HP damage spikes up with it.
And these guys are also pretty tanky, but he's got the break gains for himself, and he also has Brave retention.
Also, Raw, I guess, figured out that they're immune to Earth.
They are immune to Earth damage.
I don't want to play this video game anymore. Joey99 said, "Why did he bring Earth?" This was my team. This is my second team, and I shouldn't have brought brothers in the first place to the last stage, but whatever. So we're doing 0 brave damage every hit, which is fine. What is the most broken team we can do to smash these guys?
So some characters who are really good here. I'm gonna shout out Charlotta for being really good here.
Charlotta's great here
because she doesn't care at all about brave damage, debuffs, any of that shit. She just does a million damage. Let's see. Who else? Reigns is really good here. Defense ignore, launch, turn manipulation. You haven't used Cait Sith. You could probably bring him, get some good use.
I've never used him in my life, so that would actually be fun. I'd like to bring Balthier just to show off the buff steal.
Excal did mention something that I guess we forgot to mention. This is the only orb in the fight that is non-lethal.
Correct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were selling Ico. They were selling Ico because of that orb condition, and the orb isn't lethal for some odd reason, even though she bypasses lethal orbs.
Excalibur in chat said the orb is not lethal, but it gives them instant 5 stacks. So with Balthier, you can let the orb go off and then steal the buff. We may steal that strat right here.
Yeah. Reigns EX is really good for the spell and just damage. He's got defense, ignore, brave gains.
And they are launchable. Bahamut was not launchable, but Wave 1 and Wave 3 were. Wave 1 it was harder though because you couldn't brave gain.
Yeah, a lot of launch characters are pretty brave game reliant.
I do have a question. As you can see here, this is my second team, and we're even with the shitty gameplay, we're kind of like smashing them. Has anyone seen any two-party clears? Is that possible on this team? On this boss rush?
It is.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, but I've seen a one-party clear, but I don't know if that was.
No, it was. No, the one-party clear was very hard.
Lufenia.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Lufenia. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was very. I saw that too. It was very hard.
Yeah. I knew they did something because they don't mention it. They don't or like it doesn't mention it in the UI if it's very hard or not.
Yeah.
There's 2 stacks.
Xcal did a two-party clear. No synergy. Excalibur, please put that in chat. What team did you use?
Link that did.
Yeah, link the video if it's up, and let us know what teams you used. 'Cause that's two-party is hard, but two-party synergy is crazy. I also want to shout out Leviax. Leviax is that's the true Final Fantasy IX guy. Leviax did this with every Final Fantasy IX character, and then the ninth party member was Yuna. So Leviax did this boss rush with all the Final Fantasy IX characters plus Yuna, which, trust me, is really, really, really cool. Let's see. Finish these guys off.
You're about to get orbed.
Oh, great.
A
Fuck it.
bleeding man step in.
Why do you keep pressing cry? I don't understand. You can't debuff them. It doesn't do anything.
I'm just literally just pressing buttons to kill these guys.
Just press HP plus. It does damage.
Boom, boom, and then we'll do. They have 5 stacks now, so Balthier to steal it. That'll be fun. Who else? Chat, pick my team so we can finish this boss rush. Any other thoughts on the Elverays? Wait, what are they doing?
That's kind of funny. Did you
Oh,
see
by
what
the way,
That's
they
weird.
took their
Why did they-
stats down by to 3?
Why did that
Now
happen?
they're adapting. They're preparing for you to bring Balthier here.
Yeah.
So they buff themselves regularly with the thresholds, and
Yeah.
they replace their old buff with the next threshold, which was 3.
That's so weird. Why would they do that?
No. Like they're preparing for you. They're like, oh, he's bringing the leading man. All right, we gotta nerf ourselves.
Yeah,
a
we
bit.
don't want him to steal the 5. We don't want him to steal the 5 stacks. Zach Garnet Ramsa. I've already used Garnet and
These Ramza, Machina, and
Zach.
Cait Sith.
No, let's do this.
No, you need the synergy stats.
Wait, who's the other? Are there any synergy characters that are not Cait Sith?
Do
Aiko,
it. Do it.
Gilgamesh,
Lulu.
I've never used
Shelke.
Ico.
Face your desires.
I have never used Ico. Let's see.
fake FF9 guy.
I haven't. Everybody's like, oh, she
I mean, now's your chance to, check out Lulu.
I don't have Lulu's LD. Cait Sith? Is this it right here? Are we done?
I forgot.
Wait, where's Aiko? Wait, Aiko doesn't have double experience.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That banner they didn't give double experience to.
Yeah. So to pull up the synergy characters is even harder.
You can just go to the fight and sort by boosts.
Do what now?
Sort by boosts.
There she is. Oh, and she's staff. Beautiful. Unrelated. How do you use Ico?
Press her LD once and then use her EX whenever she has stacks on her LD. Otherwise, press LD.
Beautiful. Okay, now
Just double holy.
how do we deal with the buff that they get? We use
A call.
what's the dispel call?
Balthier.
Ferris, Shelke.
Pain.
Diablo summon. No, Vanille doesn't.
Cyan. Oh wait.
It has to break. Yeah, the brave floor. All these
Seymour,
guys
yeah,
is
Seymour.
super annoying. Oh yeah, Seymour. Okay, we'll bring Ferris, Seymour, and we'll finish this. Why can I not find Ferris? Final Fantasy.
Pain also dismount.
Ferris, Seymour. Okay, let's just do this. Let's get out of here. The song is a bop.
Yeah.
Why won't it let me go? Oh. Alright, let's finish this. Dispel call not enough. After 6 turns, they'll buff again, and it will be 5 stacks still.
They'll
think,
also be dead.
Yeah, I think with this team at 59%, I am pretty sure they'll be dead. Get both BT effects up, then burst with Zach, and should be pretty close.
All right.
BC in chat, shout out BC. Watched him do this fight with some questionable
Advice from chat.
Advice from chat. My guy learned the untrustworthy nature of backseaters in this community. Obviously, if you're here, you know BC, but if not, check him out on YouTube. He's doing more live runs. Obviously, he does the good YouTube content normally, but the live runs are very fun. If you get a chance to check out a live run from BC, enjoy that.
Black Nero on YouTube.
Yes. Any closing thought? We should be done here fairly shortly. Any closing thoughts on the fight in general? How it stacks up to the other boss rushes, other global first events?
The thing I want to say about this is honestly feels like some of the only content we've gotten in a very long time where it felt like the power level of units we have is appropriate for the content. Like,
yeah. Like, sorry to break in, but I'm using the most powerful teams. Obviously, all 3 of my teams were like just stupid broken, and even still, with the most powerful teams, you still got to pay a little bit of attention, or you could get caught. So the comment that this is up to the difficulty is up to the standard of the power we have, I think is very valid.
Yeah, and I guess what I wanted to say is that I think that's why I maybe when we were talking about this earlier, I was pushing back on saying this fight was like extremely hard because it feels like it's appropriately difficult. Like it doesn't feel like this is a hard fight. It feels like this is how fights should be. You bring what you have and you bring your best units because that's how you play the game, or should be. But the fights have not been to that caliber.
Right. A vast majority of fights from the last 6 months, if you bring the most powerful teams every single fight, you're going to walk over it. Now, pretty much with these ridiculously broken teams that I brought, we did kind of walk over it, but you had to bring like a really, really broken team to do a really easy 3-party. Some people did, like Excalibur did 2 parties with no synergy. That's really tough. And so it's requiring more of you to do these actually tough runs. And even if you bring broken teams, you still got to pay attention. So I think the difficulties point here was pretty good.
Oh, I think this is the perfect difficulty.
I think so too. Like it forces you to like try some new things out. Like wave 1 with the Brave gains, you can't rely on snow overflow, things like that. Pretty much Brave gain heavy teams, which a lot of people just basically ran through. You have to deal with just raw statistics.
Right now.
I really enjoyed the design of these fights. I said before, I'm not a fan of the boss rush format. I just find it a little tedious to get through personally. But I love the design of each of the fights. Like as an individual fight, each of these waves felt very interesting.
Yeah, and
I could use my shiny toys, and they like used.
Yeah, and like all fights used to feel like that. I feel like I don't know, like
yeah,
it didn't feel bad bringing a green to tier 6, right?
Right. This is a good difficulty level where obviously it's La La Land to believe that every fight could be like this. But if every fight could be like this, like Blart said, using your shiny toys, you still feel like you're glad you have them. all the other fights for 6 months straight, bringing all your shiny toys, you're just like, you pretty much auto plus it, and it's just dead. If you want to make it really, really hard, do something like the Tree Void Challenge. Tree Void has an A and B side. Do like Excalibur did. 2 teams, no synergy. This is a really great example of how a fight design can allow the player to build their own difficulty, right?
Yeah, like this is the first time I've used Laguna after his synergy because he's felt way too strong for any fight that we've gotten in the time since his release up until now.
It was interesting because I was finding myself being like, with the person being here, I'm not used to using them in an environment where they're being stretched and tested. So it was a really cool stress test to figure out what toys and units work outside of just kind of a punching bag environment.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, using your shiny toys and actually feeling like you need. Normally, it feels like you have I don't know who did this not joke, but this example. But you're driving, you got all these Ferraris, all these green BT pluses are Ferraris. Who was it?
It was me.
Yeah, that's
not,
I think it was
not
Mino. It may have been Mino, or was it BC? It was.
Saying,
God, I can't think.
Blart.
Not the first time you've used a Blartism without giving credit right in front of me.
Maybe it was BC or me. Anyway, some person in our community brought up how it's like you have all these Ferraris. We've got a garage full of Ferraris, and all the content, especially if you bring 3 of the Ferraris at once, it just feels like you're racing a grocery cart. And here, even bringing the Ferraris, I'm not gonna lie, these, even while we were talking and I was making a bunch of mistakes, this was pretty easy to bring 9 Ferraris and destroy it. But even with 7 Ferraris or 6 Ferraris or 5 or 3 or 1, it's gonna scale difficulty to where you need it to be engaging. And overall, 10 out of 10 experience for me. I loved this Balls Rush.
Yeah, no, it was good.
I think that we're done
Yeah,
here.
I enjoyed it. It's really good.
Sorry, Blart. I know that's not the first time I've forgot one of your really good colloquialisms and not only forgot but gave it to someone else. So,
and after I complimented your mustache.
That was
Hey,
the first mistake.
next week, I promise you guys, I am going to find this webcam and you're going to see this Top Gun mustache. It's good.
Mustache.
Yeah.
I have some doubts.
Once you see it, you will not have any questions about the fact that I claim to have eaten 7 hot dogs on Memorial Day. It's a stash. We're done here essentially, and we're also way over time, which we don't normally do. But we'll be back next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll go one by one. Any closing thoughts for the week? Obviously, we got Celes next week. I'm Type 0 guy, so I'll be tomorrow. I'll be
We use double holy.
I'll be pitying her. We'll go Some Girl first. Some Girl, any closing thoughts?
One thought I have watching you play this wave, I think it's very funny how you brought 2 dispel calls and didn't dispel the buff at all.
Okay, anyone else want to have a closing thought that's not a personal attack on me? Blind Eye, closing thoughts, my friend.
Looking forward to T9 next week. Have a great rest of your night, guys.
And
That's a nice hit point requirement you got there, Raw. Nice hit point requirement.
I missed it. We talked about that. Damn it. I did miss the HP requirement because of Bahamut, the damn fucker. We in chat, people are having a panic attack. Don't worry, I've done this fight a couple of times already, so we've got all the rewards. Blart, do you wanna send us home?
All right, I will. Baby girl's asleep, so you all have a wonderful week, and we'll catch you next time. Adios.
And stick around if you guys don't mind. We're gonna send you over to Aroli's chat. She was a big DFO, does some DFO too. does a lot of RPG stuff. Stick around, say hey to Rolai. I enjoy watching her streams. And we'll see you guys next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
See y'all.
Couple weeks or like a couple months ago, we raided someone, and the stream was not over.